What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Karl Bethke.
I'm Mike Stadler.
Yeah, you are. Pretty big deal over there. Watcha!
Bah!
Yeah, buddy. Hey, Mike.
Yes, Karl.
Summer buck photos. Are they important? Or do they even matter? Does it affect your fall hunt? Have you had success taking bucks that you have in velvet footage? Skip from Wisconsin asked us this. Great show, guys, and I appreciate it each week.
Yeah, I mean, does it make a difference? It doesn't really make a difference, I guess.
No.
We have a ton of pictures of a lot of the bucks. I knew this was going to happen, so the sprayer's going back.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have a ton of pictures of the bucks from my place, from your place, early in velvet.
And we shot.
And then we've ended up getting them. Sometimes a few years of them.
True.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bucks returning is cool. I personally don't get into the early stuff like now. We're in June, July, like when they're growing. I like to see people's pictures of it.
We don't even have cameras out.
But we don't even have cameras out. I think it's neat. I like to see them.
Yeah.
Like, a guy's got the,
Handlebars
handles coming out already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, buddy. But that's a little too early for me to get me in that mode. I can't do it to myself.
Well, I think honestly, if you have pictures now, you're not really learning anything anyway, based off of habits. You're learning, the deer's in the area. I get that. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. But as for me and spending money on batteries or mic and cell cams and stuff like that, because everything costs money. I don't care right now because it's not going to educate me at all about whether or not the deer will be there during the hunting season for us.
It's too early.
Yeah, and if, I'll be honest, we have our stuff out by late July, mid-July, late July.
That's when I like to see the buck pictures.
Yeah, because they're finishing out.
Those they're basically finished out. Well, they look obviously even bigger because they're still in velvet, but those are the deer we're going to hunt and we're going to see. Because if they're there, July and August, even if they're not there in September, they'll be back through at some point.
Oh, hold on. Before we go any further, to cover the hate mail, we're not saying don't put your cameras out. If you enjoy it now, do it.
That's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, exactly like Mike said.
We just don't do it.
Yeah. I will say this. The last 6 bucks I've shot on my property have velvet footage of every one of them.
666.
The only buck I can think of that I don't have velvet footage of that was shot on my property is your 10-pointer. And he showed up, I want to say a couple, he showed up a while, just a little bit before he killed him. I got some huge pictures of him.
Mm-hmm. I don't have pictures of all of them, but I have pictures of quite a few of them in velvet.
Yeah.
I got pictures of Flyer.
Yeah.
I got pictures of Roamer.
Yep.
I have pictures of, I don't know if I have velvet. I probably do if I look. I probably have pictures of shorts. I know I have them of the previous year hardhorn.
Yep.
And then back. I did look, and I do have pictures of Whitey as well.
Yep.
So, quite a few of them I do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and then the first couple of years you owned the property, you didn't have something.
I didn't have any cameras out.
Yeah.
No, it's neat. I like to have it. I really, really would like to have their sheds from the previous years, but the bastards, I'll call them that, they never leave them here.
They never leave them on my property.
Ever!
Really?
But I say this, that's fine, I'll just kill you with them on your head yet.
No, I'm good with that.
That's fine.
I'm good with that. The problem with it is that we have such good food, they end up devouring it all before they drop their horns.
Right.
There's
And then
someplace
they move
else
on.
they're eating.
Yeah.
So, that's the velvet footage part of things.
I don't know that it helps, but I think it's cool because you're like, all right, I know that this deer was here.
Yeah.
To me, this deer was here. He's either here now or he's going to be around here. So that's kind of cool. You kind of pick your deer, or we kind of pick our deer, I'd say, that we're going to go after,
True.
So.
Yeah, if I got late August pictures, early September pictures of an absolute giant, I get pretty cranked.
Yeah. And we always get them.
Oh yeah. But we've had them leave too.
Yeah, and not come back.
Come back.
Till, and some of them come back after season.
True.
And I mean, we've had bucks that were here or at your place every day.
Yep.
For months.
Yep.
And then gone.
Yeah, and some people are going to tell you, well, it's because you guys overpressure your land. It's
Nope.
not, because we don't even hunt.
Yeah, we're not even in there.
We're not even in there. They just,
It's just like when the shift comes, they move then.
Yeah.
You know? But if you got, I can remember one, I think you have them in my food plot that one year, there was like 5 or 6 of them. Was a really cool picture.
Yeah.
He was one of them. But there was all those bucks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Christ.
Yeah, there was 5 in the one picture, and they were all poking younger.
Yeah, they're all big deer.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is cool. And most of them came back.
Yep.
Or were there.
Yeah, but not together.
No, not together. They all spread out.
But their bachelor group
Yeah,
was there. Yeah.
We love to see. There's a couple, I can remember here a few years back, we had some really big 8s.
Yeah.
In velvet here quite a bit, and they're gone.
Yeah, they just disappeared.
Gone.
Yeah. It just depends on the deer sometimes. Yeah. The one thing I will say about velvet footage, you guys, especially right now, the reason I say that it's irrelevant is I expect those deer to transition throughout the landscape. Will they come back to my property? Yeah, 9 times out of 10 they usually do. Are they there permanently? No, because the properties can't hold that many deer. We're talking small properties.
Right.
So, last year Mike's property was just kicking at the end of October, early November with mature bucks. I mean, Phil shot leaner. You shot Whitey, and then you shot shorts too on there. And there was 1 or 2 other good ones.
Yeah, we had a couple other big ones.
And what's happening at that point is their territories are kind of overlapping each other. The 2 biggest bucks, Phil shot leaner, Mike shot Whitey, right?
Yeah.
They stayed on separate sides of the property.
Separate ends of property.
And I guarantee they might have run across each other once or twice and had that, we'll call it a discussion.
Right.
But they probably tried to avoid each other as much as possible because both of those were big mature deer.
Yep.
And the same on my property. I had bucks that are high, low. Mike has bucks that are high, low, east, west, that type of deal. So if you have a small property with terrain set up correctly.
You know what though?
What's that?
That's when you got it set up right. Baby.
Yeah, well, I know that means that shit's working out. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's a fact. If you set your properties up right, you can hold more mature deer on smaller properties.
Yeah, I like development footage. Or the hardhorn. Previous years I think is neat because we went back now that we both had our properties for a while, and you start to pick out that deer, and you go a couple years, that's that same deer, and you can kind of see that. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
I've seen that on some now. I've kind of researched back some of them, so that's pretty neat.
Yep.
So hardhorn or velvet.
I will say this, and I think Mike will agree, that you can use past information on certain bucks because they will duplicate that the very next year.
They all have their own personality.
Yeah, no,
they
that's
really do.
Yeah, they do. They do. Some are past and some aren't. But yes, so velvet deer currently right now, no. Velvet deer in August into the beginning of September, just before they shed, yes, very good information.
Yeah.
And we will make our decisions on all of that. So we appreciate you guys listening. If you got any other questions, put right down here on YouTube. If you want to check us out on the podcast, we're on any of the podcast outlets. Be sure to check out our Facebook stuff.
Blue collar bucks.
Yeah, buddy. And we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, buddy.